Hello everyone, my name is Christina from Fanshawe Pioneer Village and happy Family Day! So for today we are bringing back our second annual virtual pageant. Now we have some incredible volunteers all around our site and we're lucky enough to have some of them showing you a few tips and tricks and talents that they have. We're starting off with Layla and she'll be talking to us about a family heirloom that is very unique and tells an incredible story. After that, we've got Bob playing some lovely fiddle tunes, followed by Madeline, who will be doing some Scottish dancing. And then after that, we'll be learning a little bit about how to do indoor plants from Anna Maria, who's been a beloved volunteer for over 25 years up on site. So I'm certainly excited to learn a thing or two and get a few new green thumbs along the way. And then following that, a musical instrument you may have around your house but didn't know you can play. So stay tuned, everyone.
Hi, happy Family Day. My name is Lala, and I'm happy to share with you today a family heirloom that actually comes from my husband's family. And it's this very beautiful and unique quilt that was made by his grandmother, Mary McAdam Clark. So I'm just going to show you some close-ups of the quilt and see if you can guess how it was put together. And I wanted to share a few thoughts with you too on Family Day about quilting, because not only does it produce something that's very functional and also very beautiful, which this is, it's a way to capture a bit of the past. It's a way for the quilter to capture some of the family's history and some of their own personality and pass that on for future generations. So I never knew Grandma Clark. I never had the chance to meet her, but I do know a little bit about her past. She was born in Ontario. She was the oldest of 9 children. And she moved to a small town in Saskatchewan when she was old enough to earn her living as a housekeeper there. And she met and married a farmer, and who was Grandpa Clark, obviously, and they raised their family in the 1930s, which was not an easy time to be a farmer on the prairies. So making the most of what she had around her would have been something that stuck with Grandma Clark throughout her lifetime. So I know that she loved to quilt, and she made many, many, many quilts for her kids and her grandkids. And something else that I can pick up from this quilt is, obviously she was very talented. She was artistic. She was inventive. And she probably had a sense of fun and playfulness about her, and which is a clue to how this quilt was put together. So if you guessed neckties, you're correct. This entire quilt is made out of formerly used neckties. And you can see how she mixed the patterns and the colors. And she mixed the plain patterns with the more colorful pieces and made blocks. So put them together in blocks and then pieced the blocks together to make a quilt. So the overall effect is that of a crazy quilt, but there is actually method behind the madness. The other thing you can tell from this quilt is a little bit about the time when it was put together. I'm guessing the early 1960s, because the ties are starting to get a little bit wider and a little bit more colorful than they were in the 50s and before, but not quite as colorful as they were in the 70s. You can even tell that some of the blocks, the ties are skinnier in this particular block, a little more subtle. Maybe some of them, she put them together on purpose to capture different time periods or different decades. So overall, it's just a very beautiful work of art that's been passed down for a few generations now. So I hope you enjoyed that glimpse into the past. And something to think about this Family Day is maybe what are the things around you right now that you might want to collect and put together to capture some of your family's history and the times that we're living in right now to pass on to future generations. Have a great Family Day. Bye-bye.
1, 2, 3, 4. enjoyed that. I'm Bob, the fiddler.
Hello, my name is Anna Maria, and I have been a volunteer at Virtual Family Day Village for quite a few years now. And I am going to show you some of the house plants that grow in my place and show you some of the tricks to propagate and to have them looking nice as possible. This plant is an anthurium, and if you are looking for a plant that always looks elegant, takes care of itself almost, doesn't need that much light, just enough, and very little water, it always looks perfect, and it flowers constantly all year around. So if you're looking for easy to grow plant and grow successfully, anthurium will be your plant. The second one I want to show you is my cyclamen plant. This is a magic plant, you know. I bought this little poor sickly plant on the table where they just want to eliminate these things, and it was just a poor sick old thing, but I did like the color of them. So about 2 years ago, probably longer than that, I took it home, took a bit of care of it, and then when I start to see that there was some growing to it, I've changed the pot. Never change the pot or put fertilizer when you see a plant that is not at its best, because instead of doing good for the plant, you are really going to kill it. So no fertilizer, no moving it until the plants start growing. Spider plant, there are two varieties of spider plants. There is the variegated one, and there is the plain green one. It's good for an hanging plant. Actually, the best way to keep it is hanging someplace. I'll show you what I do with my spider plant. See, that's a new little spider growing in it. So all you do is cut the little spider out. In this one here, there are already roots on it. See? So I cut it there. See the roots already there? I cut these two little guys here because they will have another chance later on. And all I do, I stick them in a little jar of water. Put them anywhere, and in about 3 weeks you will have roots on them. Another plant that I like because it's so easy to grow that you almost say stop, and it's the Swedish ivy. The Swedish ivy is not Swedish at all. It actually comes from Australia. It originated in Australia. The thing with this one is that you have to turn the pot very often because it really goes towards the light. So changing the pot around, turning the pot around once a week will do the trick to keep it growing all over and down right. Then we have the jade plant. Jade plant doesn't require any care at all. You can give it any shape. This is a young plant. If you want to show the stem, you will get rid of all these little side branches, and with this one you just put it in soil and it will start a new plant. This is a young plant. It's nice and fresh. It grows a lot more in the summer, needs a lot of sun. The more sun you want to give it, the better. Okay. Another unusual one here is this one. This one was called, the original of this one was a flat leaf, nice and long, and it was called the mother-in-law tongue. This is a new variety. I don't know who invented it or who trained it or what, but it's the same plant, only the leaves, instead of wide and grow narrow. And I like this one because it's kind of so new looking and so elegant in a way, and so modern too. This is an overgrown aloe vera. I suggest if you buy an aloe vera, buy a small one and then let it grow, because the bigger ones you won't be able to keep them dry long enough for them to settle into the new ground. Everybody mentions aloe vera now for every kind of thing, for insect stings, for cleaning the air as well, for everything you can think of. The fern is one of my favorite plants. I don't know if I could live without a fern, but maybe I could, but I don't know. You will have to spray it, probably even every day. You spray some water on it, and water not as much, but you have to keep the humidity. So during the winter, when the central air goes, I put a pail here with water, and so the vapor from it will keep the fern in good stand until the summer comes and I open the window for it. This one and this one are philodendrons. They have different names, but to me, everything that's in this line, the green leaf, the variegated leaf, the split leaf, philodendron, they are all philodendrons, all plants that really grow well in the warm of the houses during the winter. They need more water than other plants, but they look good, they look alive, they look substantial, and I like that in a big room. To start the philodendrons, you don't have to do anything more than as you do with your spider plant. You just put them in a jar and they will root for you. If instead of a juice jar you will use a fancy vase, you can stick the plants in and put them up, and they will be very decorative as well as doing their job of multiplying themselves. This is a type of a begonia. I call it the blanket stitch plant, the blanket stitch begonia. It flowers almost constantly. The only bad thing about the plant is just that it grows so long. Instead of growing in a bush, it just kind of climbs down. So after a while, I don't like the look of it. So what I do, I just cut the tips, put them in water, get them rooted, and then I'll start a whole new fresh plant. That is what I really like for it. Very easy to grow, and very rewarding too. The peace lily, it's good for cleaning the air as well. Actually, it's one of the best plants for kind of filtering the things out of the air. It doesn't have flowers right now because it's situated in the winter on the north side window of the rec room, and so there is not enough light. This one will grow in the dark if you have to, but it will not flower. So this one will start flowering when the days get longer and the sun will come a little bit in the afternoon, and it will always have 4 or 5 flowers all through the year until almost Christmas time. In this corner I have another interesting plant. This is called the ZZ plant, and it's a newcomer to this country. You see them all in the malls and in the offices and that. It's really nice. It's almost indestructible. But it has its drawbacks too, like it wants to grow exactly where it was. It's got a tough stem and that. But this corner seems to be okay for it. I hope it only grows a little bit fuller than what it is. This plant, probably most of you won't have seen one before, but its name is Aspidistra, but everybody calls it the cast iron plant because it's indestructible. This was a plant that was very dear to the Victorian times because in their houses without the heat, without the central heat, with all the smoke from the wood stove and the tobacco smoke from the pipes that the old gentlemen always had in their mouth, it still will survive. So it's very difficult to find, it's very slow to grow, but to me it reminds me of back home, and that's why I really like this plant. It's strong, you can do whatever you want with it. It almost looks plastic, but really it's a plant that has stood for centuries, and it's still one of the nice plants for your dark corners, for your light corners, for your cold corners, or your warm corners. As long as you water it maybe once a month, I would say. In closing, I would like to remind everyone that's watching this short video that the French Pioneer volunteers, the gardeners, as usual will hold a plant sale indoor and outdoors. We weren't able to do it in the last 2 years, but hopefully this year we'll get back to normal. If you need some good plants, some different plants, just come and visit us and you will find the people willing to suggest and to help you choose the right one.
There's a little piece of music on a turkey baster. Hi, I'm Bob the Fiddler. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Now, I have a question for you. What did you do this Family Day weekend? Are you doing anything special with your families? If so, let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't, tell us, what does Family Day mean to you? As well, if you did care, make sure to like and subscribe to the Fanshawe Pioneer Village's YouTube channel for updates. As well, I would like to say a big thank you to our guests, Layla, Bob, Madeline, as well as Anna Maria, for showing us Family Day, for talking to us today. I'd say to our guests.